Happy Valentine's Day, or at least when we're recording this. Welcome to another episode of JourneyCast. My name is Levi.
I'm Alicia.
And today we're joined by Denver and Julie Knodel.
Woo!
With Elias Knodel in the background. Hi, Elias. Awesome. Yeah, today we're doing another relationship advice Q&A.
Fitting for Valentine's Day
Yes.
and every teenager's favorite subject.
Oh my gosh, it's one of the most viewed episodes we have currently. We did one with Kristen Thomas, but today we have both sides of the story with us. We actually just did a panel last night with guys and girls, and there was a few questions. So if you submitted a question, we do have a few from that we've brought over for today.
For anyone who maybe doesn't know you, how long have you been married?
May will be 8 years.
Yes, that is correct. Yeah. 8 years in May.
Quick math. 2016, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you do for a living?
Well, for those of you who don't know, I run Whispering Pines Camp out in Elkwater. We're in summer camp. So right now in February, it's the time of planning to open up our registration for the season and hire all our staff and everything. So it's kind of a interesting season for me out there. But yeah.
So if you're looking for a job.
Yeah. Yeah, you can by
tomorrow.
the time this comes out,
Yeah.
you can have applied for at least a week or so
Yes.
on our website, whisperingpinescamp.ca.
Yeah.
And I'm a nurse. I work on the maternity ward at the hospital with babies. And I have 2 boys and almost another one.
Woo!
You don't know what it is yet, though, do you?
No, I don't.
No.
It's just an assumption that it's a boy.
It's a good chance. You never know, though.
You never know.
You never know. Okay, first question we got here. Best way to get a ring by spring?
You're a
Don't.
teenager. Don't do it.
Don't do it.
Your whole life ahead
This
of
wasn't
you.
from a teenager, though.
Well, that's
Yeah.
fair.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Don't rush into getting married because you're going to be probably with that person for the rest of your life. You're planning to be with that person for the rest of your life. And so, like, don't put that kind of pressure on yourself that you, like, need to have, gotten engaged or, like, be really far along into your relationship within, like, 6 or 8 months. Like, it might happen, but you shouldn't expect that that's, like, a really normal or, like, necessarily a good sign. Like, you should just take your time, be wise, make sure that, if you're going to be with someone, that they're going to, like, know your family and know your friends and know you really well, and that you have a chance to get to know their family and friends before you rush into a long-term commitment.
And also, like, it's almost like you just like the idea of being in a relationship or like the idea of getting married. You have, like, zero concern about who it is, really.
Right. Are you marryable?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
That matters.
big cautionary thing, too, is if you're ever at a point where you're like, I need him or her to complete me. That's where
Yeah.
you're going to really run into
Yeah.
some problems, because that person can never complete you. They can never make you happy,
Yeah.
fulfill all your needs.
God made you as a whole person
Yeah.
on your own. He didn't, like, make half of you and someone else that you have to, like, find your soulmate
In order
and-
to be whole.
Yeah, it's not like some thing that you're like, oh, I need someone to be fully me. You know,
There is kind of a panic season, though, especially when you get to college, because it does sort of seem like there's a season where all of a sudden everyone's pairing up, and then you get all these wedding invites, and if you're not even dating, it's like, oh no. So then maybe there's that pull to be like, okay, who's cute?
yeah, right.
How
right?
quick can I do this? Because you don't want to feel left
I'll
out.
just settle.
Especially if you go to Bible school.
Yes. Bible school is funny because a lot of people come in a relationship that's long distance, and then they get to Thanksgiving, and we affectionately call it the turkey drop. Because that's when you go home for Thanksgiving, break up with the person that you were dating when you came because you found someone cuter at Bible school. Like, I saw it so many times, the turkey drop. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
It's
That's
crazy
true.
out there.
That is a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is the Meyer sister secret?
That was a good question.
Yeah.
So if you don't know the Meyer sisters, we have 3 of them as youth leaders, and they all
It was fast.
Hannah's about to get married. Alicia got married, then Caitlin got married, and now Hannah's about to get married. And they all like were dating guys who were also youth leaders here with us. And so it sort of seemed miraculous how it all
There's
came
memes
together.
about this.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
great.
Like the trade deal.
Yeah.
I offer you, or you become youth leader, I offer marriage or something. Yeah.
I mean, Tyler and I met here, Parker and
Yeah.
Kristen met here. So it sort of became this thing where I was telling our youth leaders, like
Yeah.
potentially I'm like, become a youth leader. It, could
Yeah.
be a great benefit for your life.
There's been no guarantees though.
No guarantees,
And the
no.
person that submitted this question was expecting a guarantee.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
But
not a
Denver,
guarantee.
you had a good answer. What is the Meyer sisters secret?
I mean, I don't personally, as not being a Meyer sister, I can't really speak to like what the true nature of the secret is. But I would say, just from an outside perspective, it seems like their secret is to be a person of character who is of a marriageable age.
Woo.
Yeah.
Sounds
right
like
place,
a bit of
right
a burn.
time.
It's not meant to be though. Okay, some more serious questions here. How do you keep your significant other from becoming more important than God in your life? We had this, like you said last night, a few questions
We did a
worded
Q&A
this way.
night. Yeah. A
Yeah.
bunch of kids submitted the same question. And so we talked a little bit about it then, but we'll talk about it again now.
What did you guys end up saying?
Yeah. We said it's really important to have your own relationship with God.
Yeah.
And like that needs to be a priority. So if you want that to be a priority in your marriage, it's a good idea to start making that a priority now before you're dating, right?
Yeah.
So like if God's number one, you have to work to maintain that relationship, right? Like no one can do that for you. But then also bringing so Tyler and I, like we're married.
Yep.
So like we like to pray together. Like we pray before meals. Like, I don't know, we go to church together. Like, so we've made faith a priority in our lives together as a couple too. So I think, I don't know, both of us have just made God a priority.
Are you like, I feel like I've seen it where some couples are like, we need to do like everything relationship wise together, or everything faith wise.
Oh, no.
In a relationship together, right?
Oh no.
Like
that doesn't
something like
work.
obviously like church, praying together. Like there are things that are like,
Yeah, it's an important focus for both of us.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have to have a relationship with the Lord.
Yeah.
I can't just be like, oh, Tyler's got one. I'm fine.
yeah. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Any thoughts?
I think it's like what does it mean for you already? Like what we said, like having a relationship with God. Like what does it mean for you to put God first in your life? And then how do you keep someone else from taking that place? Like I think one of the big things is like, how do you make your decisions in your life? Like how do you choose between the options that are presented for you? How do you choose the path for you, And I think one of the places where you can start to see someone else taking God's place in your life, your significant other taking God's place in your life, is when you start to value how it affects them above how God is leading you. And if you are having a really hard time identifying how God is leading you, or like that's a really unfamiliar concept to you, that's going to be really, really hard for you to keep faith from getting pushed aside once you get into a relationship. Because like once you get into a relationship with a person, there's a lot, of really strong feelings that come along with that develop and grow, and it can pretty easily outcompete your relationship with God if your relationship with God isn't that strong or isn't that important to you, or you don't know what that really means for you.
Yeah. Are you pursuing God as much as you're pursuing dating someone? Like if you're making that relationship a priority and you're not even spending time in prayer, having some sort of prayer habit, prayer life, it's
And then inviting God into that relationship as soon as possible. Because if you're dating for a year, thank you. If you're dating for a year already and you've never talked about God, made that a priority in your relationship, prayed together, anything, it's going to be really hard and awkward to start later on in the relationship.
Yeah.
Whereas if from day one, you're like, God is my number one priority. I really like you and God's still going to be a really big priority. Let's invite him in. Then it will just naturally be part of your relationship.
Yeah.
What does it mean to invite him in though for you?
For us, when we were dating, it was like even before we started dating, it was a lot of our conversation. I think like just we knew where our priorities lied. And then, through our dating relationship, there was a lot of prayer, some obstacles to overcome, breaking up, getting back together. But God
Making a music video to get back.
Yeah.
What?
Kind of.
You've seen it. I'm sure you've seen it.
Probably not.
I would remember that.
It was for Denver's 22nd birthday, so you can assume what song we used.
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
That was really fun.
I helped film it and everything, so it was a lot of fun.
You were even in it.
I was even in it.
Wow.
And
That's
Matt
great.
was in it, and
Yeah.
Dawson was in it.
This is great.
Yeah.
And a whole bunch of people. I really appreciate it.
We potentially may share it. I don't know. We'll see.
I was away at Bible college, and I was like,
You were at Kaleo
I was at Kaleo,
in
really
BC.
far away, and I really appreciate it. It was like one of the sweetest things anyone has ever done for me.
Aww.
Just make me a video with all my friends and family in it. So I thought that was really cool.
Yeah. It was fun to make.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to where we
Back to where we were.
lost.
You had broken up. You had gotten back together, and
Yes.
yeah.
And God was always quite a part of that. And to relate to all you girls and boys out there, a big part of our breaking up was that I had liked Denver for so long that I felt like I needed him to complete me. And God needed that time apart to teach me I am whole without him. I don't need him. And then he worked on my heart in so many ways, and Denver's in different ways. And then when we came back together, our relationship was very different.
What sort of things did you learn about yourself that you could,
Just that you don't need another human
yeah.
to make you whole. Like, I don't know. That was such a big part. Like, I was like, to be happy, to feel confident, to feel valuable, to feel beautiful, I needed someone to affirm all those things in me. Yeah. Where God affirmed those things. You're my daughter. You are who I made you to be, even if you were single your whole life. And so then when I finally, I think, internalized that, that's when he happened to bring Denver back into my life. That's not always the case.
Yeah.
But by that point, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah. And I think the important thing too is to be encouraged by other people's stories and stuff, but don't be like, well, that's how Julie did it, so I'm going to copy and paste that to my life. Like it's just an example of God working and helping, helping show you that you're okay on your own. Yeah.
This triggered a weird memory for me of being in, I think it was probably high school, with my youth pastor, your uncle. And I am like 90% sure he actually told us not to pray with the person we're dating.
Oh, wow.
Pray with them because he said, I think he worded it like, don't pray together or you'll be pregnant before you can say the word, what's it, floor hockey? I just remember something about hockey and not praying together.
Well, one of his most common
advice,
Jake quotes
That
is
sounds-
sex leads to dancing.
Sex is to dancing. Yeah.
In that order.
So it's just funny.
That's funny.
Yeah. So maybe if you pray together, have a good distance between yourselves. Some people around.
Yeah, and still pray on your own too. Don't.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if your faith only happens with another person, there's a red flag there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And also if the person you're praying with is trying to drop hints of what they want you to do or something, that they're like, oh, I feel like God is saying this to us, so you should just agree with me on everything. That's
That's a
not
red
good.
flag.
No.
I don't know why this makes me want to skip way down. Can I ask one of the questions?
Yep.
Okay, so someone asked, is it okay to flirt to convert?
Oh, yeah.
So we used to call that missionary dating. So that's purposefully okay, this person's not a Christian, but I really like them. And so I just want to date them anyway in the hopes that maybe they'll come to know the Lord. You can call it whatever you want, right? They'll for sure come to know the Lord. I'm like, you don't know that. It's a terrible risk. We had girls in our youth group who did this too, in my age group, and they both brought their boyfriends to church. Both boyfriends came to know the Lord. They both broke up with their boyfriends, and then the boys felt uncomfortable because they didn't have community here anymore because they felt awkward, and they left their faith and never came back.
Yeah.
That's how I've seen it pan out.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically that's how I've seen it pan out. in the short term, you might get them to come to church. You might get them to like join a Bible study or start to consider faith. But then once you are out of the picture, which just inevitably happens, either you end up breaking up or the relationship progresses and people are just really end up really hurt and deeply unhappy. I think
Yeah.
is one of the biggest things. It's like it is a really, I don't know, I've just seen it be so painful for people that end up, marrying someone who doesn't share their faith or doesn't share their faith it as the same kind of priority that they do.
Yeah.
I think that it's like it can be really hard to initially accept the the idea like what Paul shares, like don't be unequally yoked,
Yeah.
with an unbeliever in your marriage, in your relationship. But like it just your priorities are just very, very different, and it's just going to cause a lot of conflict and pain in your relationship.
And even if you end up getting married and it works out, it creates a lot of pain,
Yeah.
a lot of conflict,
Yeah.
a lot of challenges.
Yeah, because then once you're married, maybe
Unavoidable.
they stop coming to church as often as they used to. They stop, praying with. If you have kids, they don't pray with your kids. Like stuff like that.
Are you okay going to church alone every Sunday?
Yeah.
Is that fine?
Yeah. And what if someday they don't feel like they want their kids or your kids going to church?
If you want to tithe, will they be okay with you tithing?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
kind of and also how important is your faith to you? Like, don't you want to share that with somebody and grow in that throughout the course of your life,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Don't you already want to find someone that's already making that a priority? And yeah,
And there's no guarantees that it will work out. And now your heart is invested in that person.
yeah.
And so then you're going to have to make a very difficult choice between the person you love and the God you love. And so if you avoid it in the first place.
sometimes we just have to have a little bit of a filter. Do I like this person because they're a good person and we have a lot in common? Or do I
Yeah.
like this person because they're attractive?
Yeah.
yeah. It's you can get too excited just that like, oh, this person's actually interested in me. What is going on? Like I'm speaking from experience. You're not expecting them to be interested in you, and then they show that they are, and you're just like, oh, awesome, yeah, sure, let's date, yeah, why not? And you don't like stop to.
We like to
Think.
be liked.
We like to
We
be
do,
liked.
we do, and and stop to think like, hey, wait, do they share my values? Like maybe I should just get to know them a little bit first, learn a little bit more about them, and then, can make an educated.
I'm
choice.
asking all the questions now because this is my newest pet peeve with our teams.
Do you want the?
No,
okay,
I have it
You've got them memorized.
on my
Okay,
chest.
you're good.
It's my newest thing. It's like, okay, so how do teens know when they're dating? Because like I hear it over and
my
over and
gosh.
over and over again lately.
Yeah.
Like there's so many examples. We're like, oh, we broke up. We're like, we didn't break up. We were never dating. Wait, what? But we were kissing. Or like, what defines dating? What is happening?
It is so important to clarify that right off the bat.
Chivalry, man.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't mean to be sexist or anything, but guys gotta step up a little bit in that regard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Every girl would love to be. If you're actually together and you think you're dating,
Just be
define
clear
it.
about it.
Yes.
I think like, I don't know. I feel like the definition is when you have an exclusive or unique relationship with that person that you don't have with other people.
But then, yeah.
I
Make that clear to them,
just
too.
this one person I went out with, I just like clearly said, hey, can I take you on a date?
How nice.
It was tough. Like it was like I was
You can't
freaking
just
out.
back out and be like, oh, you misunderstood me.
Yeah, no, it's clear to like my intentions are clear. She fully understood what I was asking. Like it wasn't just like, hey, could you want to hang out sometime? Maybe, I don't know, like with just like you and me, like I don't know, like just be clear. Just say what you're feeling. And if you can't say, maybe you're not ready to date someone if you can't say what you're feeling.
I don't hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any thoughts?
No, I think you're right. I think like I don't know. I mean, maybe that's just like male brain thing where you're like, just be clear and just say what you mean all the time, because that's very. I think that's very much a guy thing. But
every time before that, I didn't do that, and then like that time, I'm like, I have to be clear about this. Like I knew I had to be clear about it. Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. You just I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know. Like, it's just the idea of not knowing, or like coming to the end of a relationship and not actually knowing where you were in the relationship at any point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's really
like just trying
really
to guess what things are like.
Well, and asking someone to go on a date isn't committing to marrying them.
No.
It's true.
It's just like, hey, we went on a date.
Yeah.
Didn't like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's also the thing. You can
Yeah.
just go on a date and it
Yes.
not officially be anything.
yeah.
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 But if you go on another date,
Yeah. If you're going
then
on dates
I think,
regularly,
technically, I think if we're going to talk, because here's the thing, we're saying no.
can
If
have a
if you
second
ask
date
someone
without-
out, if you ask someone out on a date, then you're dating. But if you don't like continue dating them, then you weren't really dating. Okay, well then that just confuses the issue more. But
Yeah.
like, I think like if you decide to continue dating after your like second or third date, then I think like definition wise, you're dating from when you first went on a first date with them.
just as clear as
in my mind.
if you also have to be clear after, like if it didn't go well and you got like, don't be like, well, I don't want to hurt their feelings, and just
I'll call you.
yeah.
I feel so old fashioned, but like Denver said, let's go for a walk. And then said, would you like to be my girlfriend? Like you
Yeah.
defined it day one.
Yeah.
And I loved that. And
Yeah.
I think that's how it always was. I
Tyler
mean,
did the same thing.
Exactly.
It was
I'm like,
very
it's
clear. Do
very
you want
clear.
to be my girlfriend?
Yes.
Yeah.
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 we were officially dating.
Yeah.
We remembered the day. It was a lightning storm. Really cool.
Oh, that's nice.
Julie loves a good lightning storm.
God, love good lightning storm. God just kidding. But I don't know. Is it old fashioned or is it
Good.
good?
It's just a good thing that's been lost in society.
I
Yeah.
think our culture just values doing whatever you want whenever you feel
And
like
is
it.
afraid of commitment
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
in general, which
Or maybe even vulnerability.
that too.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you ask a question
Okay.
now.
Okay. You got some memorized though. I'm surprised.
They were good questions.
Do we want to do Davis's questions? Why not?
I mean, it'll take us 2 seconds and then we can say that we did it.
Okay.
We got some weird questions.
Yeah. All right. So he put his name down, so I'm assuming he's okay with us saying his name.
We don't have to say his last name.
Davis says, "How do I get my sister a boyfriend?" 3 question marks. So it's urgent.
It's urgent.
It's urgent.
And like by get one, is that like you have to purchase one
like-
or is there a store?
Pray for her.
And she's a gem.
She is.
Yeah, she's
She
great.
is. I think. Yeah. You.
I think just let her be, dude.
Yeah.
He's-
You can be a
she's great.
wingman all you want, but like it's up to her.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Don't meddle too much.
Yeah.
I just like that could go really poorly.
Yeah,
Because then
you
if the
could get too
relationship really
involved.
doesn't work out, or if it does work out but then goes south, then you'll like always feel really guilty about that. So
Yeah.
just like I don't know, let people
Let
let it
be.
ride. You know,
Yeah.
just like let people make their own decisions and give them advice or encouragement if they need it, if they ask for it.
Yeah.
Good answer.
Another one from Davis. Is it okay to give my girlfriend a foot massage?
So
if
weird.
no, what if I wear gloves? Does it make it any better?
I think
Gloves 100% make it worse, David.
Yeah,
so
I was gonna
much
say
worse.
gloves are gonna make that super weird. So don't do that. If I think
I'm just
know.
picturing him like, like the medical blue.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, yeah.
yeah.
So uncomfortable.
yeah, that's
She
really
might
uncomfortable.
leave you if you do that.
Yeah.
You can give your girlfriend
And
a foot
nobody would
massage.
blame her.
I think if she's comfortable with that, you can do that. But like, I don't know. Don't wear gloves.
Like maybe also consider like going out for coffee.
Yeah, there's other things you can do. You don't
Watching a
have to.
movie.
Yeah.
relationship doesn't have to involve feet at all.
No. Yeah. Moving on. High school relationships. Good or bad idea? Am I setting myself up for failure?
Statistically, yes.
They
are not a great idea, and you are
making
setting
a
yourself
risk.
up for hurt in the long run. Most high school relationships don't work out. And also, you're entering into a close emotional relationship with someone of the opposite sex when you both have like probably the most ragingest uncontrolled hormones that you will have throughout your life.
Yeah.
With the least oversight in relationship from like older people who can help you not make really bad decisions.
And also you're also super close with everyone in your friend group.
Yep.
And everything. So like if something happens, if you end up breaking up, it really makes things it breaks things down in your friend group.
And during that, I'd say 13 to 17, 18 years, you're really just developing who you are.
Yeah.
So it's like, how can you
will change a lot.
will change a lot.
Yeah. The person you started dating at 16 will not be the same person at 18.
Yeah.
Well, they could be, but there's a chance that they will not be.
Well, and if you don't know what you want to do with your life, right? Like if you're planning to go away to university or take a year of Bible school or whatever, like that's a difficult thing,
Yeah.
you know, because I don't know, like as you're forming your own path, like what if you decide you want to move to Africa and so like the person you've been dating since you were 15 doesn't want to leave town? Like, I don't know. It's just messy. You've got a lot, like you're a teenager, you're processing a lot. You've got a lot of hormones going on. There's drama with your friendships. You need to add more stress because I think we think a relationship is just like, okay, well now everything is roses. Someone likes me, so it's never going to be bad. And, you know, but it takes work and it's complicated.
And a lot of it too, like I felt like, so I dated someone in high school and I felt like I just dated them because, you know, I mean, I shouldn't say just dated them because of that, but like, I was comparing myself to friends that were dating in high school. And I was like, oh, well, I'm not complete without this. I'm not full without this. So I need to also find someone to pursue someone. And that's just not the case.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, some of our teens are serial daters.
yeah.
Like the minute that they're done with one, they're on to the next,
Yeah.
and then the next, and then the next, and like, you know,
That's really unhealthy.
so unhealthy.
Yes.
Yeah. You need to be able to be alone.
I wish I wouldn't have spent my high school years trying to like date and pursue people. Like I wish I would have just like spent it hanging out with friends because that's a special time in your life.
Yeah.
And I think you say this often to your boys, you're never going to have this again
In the same way.
in the same
Yeah.
way. You'll have something similar. You'll have
You might,
different groups of friends throughout your life. And you might stay in touch with these friends, but this is a very special and yeah, it's really valuable. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's only two things that'll happen: you date, you either break up, or you get married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, how much do you like this person? Are you willing to break up with them and then have it be so awkward that you probably won't be friends ever again?
Yeah.
Or is this someone that you would actually be willing to marry if you're? I don't know. I gotta think about it.
I think the only
Why do
time
we date?
the only time we have a friend who they were exclusive because
Yeah.
they weren't allowed to date. They were exclusive from like 14 and they ended up getting married and they are happily married
Yeah.
now.
But
They were both they both knew at like 14, 15 years old, like
What they wanted to do with
This
their
is what
lives.
I'm going to do. I'm going to finish school. This is where I'm going to do my education. This is what kind of career and work I'm going to have.
and
These
one
are
of
the
them was
places we're
already
gonna do it.
working on towards their career.
They had set those goals and they had like pretty much established the beginning of their life path for the next like 15 years at like 15.
Yeah.
They're
Which
an
not
anomaly,
everyone's
though.
going to do.
And not everyone's going to do. And if you don't have that, I would be very cautious about
Also, they're
that, you
people
know?
of strong character.
Yes, and
Solid
faith.
and
Yeah.
faith.
And have very strong,
Yeah.
close relationships with their family.
Yeah. And so, yeah, they're, you know who you are. They're the exception to the rule.
Yes.
And And you shouldn't compare yourself to those people that it's like, oh, I married my high school sweetheart. Great. I'm happy for you. But that's not common.
No.
It's true.
So
Very uncommon.
Don't pursue that unless you're so like positive and like, I don't know. Like you shouldn't like, I wouldn't go back and tell them to break up because well, like, you know, like it's possible, but don't like don't put all your eggs in that basket.
If you're in high school, just take 5 minutes. Just press pause and take 5 minutes and think, why do I want to date so
Don't
bad?
be reactionary.
Why?
To things.
Why do I want to date?
My dad said I wasn't allowed. Thanks, Dad.
Yeah.
There you go.
I'm thankful for that now.
Thanks, Frank. Yeah. Well, you guys started dating like right when you graduated.
He was my grad date because I wasn't allowed to date prior to graduation. But on my graduation day, I was graduated. So
That's right.
Yeah. I remember that.
That was so brave.
But we didn't actually start like
dating till
You were kind of awkward a little bit.
kind of. Yeah. I was.
I just remember like, oh, hey, Denver. Why are you hanging out with us today?
That's right.
And he was like, I'm like, yeah, no, I know. I know why you're here.
Everybody knows why
Just
you're here.
making it miserable.
It's fine. Yeah. It's fine.
Yeah.
That was fun though. But it was, we didn't actually, so you graduated and then we hung out for a year.
well,
then,
we both actually moved away for a year.
and then we both moved away. And then at the end of the year, after we both got back, we started dating. Yeah.
Long distance is also very difficult on a relationship.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. But it can also be really, really good.
Yeah.
It's really this is something that is like, I don't know, I think people should know the like difficult things you go through in a relationship. If you're able to like make it work, those are some of the most strengthening and like beneficial things to your relationship. The like hard things you go through, they bring you actually so much closer together, and like they can really build such a strong foundation of character in your relationship just because you like worked through something difficult together.
So you're saying it's important to build a firm foundation,
Yes.
Yes.
the rock on which you stand
Yes.
when everything around you is shaking.
Yes. Thank you.
I feel like we kind of answered this question, but we could also add to it managing feelings/emotions tips. We kind of said, just don't be so reactionary to things.
Take a
Oh, it's so
walk.
much easier
take a
said than
walk.
done.
Yeah, it is.
Get a diary.
This is why it's
Not the
not
person to
like,
ask this question to.
this is why it's important to like you said, you've got so many feelings and hormones changing, and like just this is why it's not ideal to date at this stage.
Yeah.
Pray. Yeah, just pray. Talk to your parents.
Talk to your parents, talk to your
Trusted
youth leaders,
adults.
ask
Yeah.
advice from people who are not in the emotional situation.
Yes.
Don't
Yes.
ask your crush's best friend if you should ask
or your
them out.
crush.
Or your crush.
Yeah.
Or like maybe not even your best friend who's like your peer at school, because they don't actually have any more insight or
and they'll always
or
just
clue
be
about it than
excited.
you.
Like,
Yeah.
do it.
Yeah.
oh, that would be so fun. That'd
Yeah.
be so exciting.
Because
Yeah.
they want what's best for you, but they have like no experience.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
So
It's
Yeah.
not a wisdom-filled situation.
No.
Yeah.
No.
you want to ask people that have experience.
Ideally, someone older
Yeah.
who would be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
And who cares about you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think like I think that the general concept of what we're sharing about like managing feelings and emotions is like to have external structures and people in your life. So like try and develop a habit of journaling. If you really struggle with managing your emotions and like knowing what to do with them, like process things in a journal where like if you write it in a journal, nobody has to get hurt by what you say.
Yeah.
And like you're not committing to like any course of action by like talking to someone. You're not pressuring someone into giving you advice by processing with the journal. Or like, ask your parents. If your parents say don't date, then just like listen to that, because they are trying to share wisdom and give you structure so that
And it's
here's
not
where
like
the
they're just
boundaries
like trying to
are of
shut
like
down
what good ideas are.
Like, oh, you're having fun.
No.
How dare you?
No fun.
No fun. I don't want you to have fun.
And just another aspect of this question, if it's for someone who's already dating, because I didn't know if it's talking about going into a relationship, or
Yeah.
how do you handle your emotions within a
I think
relationship?
it's that too, or like before, or in the relationship, yeah.
So because
Yeah.
hormones are on high, emotions are on high, set boundaries early before it's an issue.
Yeah,
Anytime you're tired, bad
yeah,
Bad.
things happen when you're tired and at night.
yeah,
Bad things happen if you drink. Don't be drinking
yeah,
in general.
yeah,
But especially, when you're in a vulnerable state, which when you're tired, something bad's happening.
What did I say? Hungry, angry,
Hungry.
lonely, tired.
Yep.
Those,
Yeah.
are, those are bad times.
So if you're feeling those things,
Those are great times to turn to God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
to God, to your significant other, maybe, but maybe have other people around during those
Yes.
times. If you were grieving, for instance, it's like, you're going to want to grieve with your partner, but if you're not yet married, then probably have other friends there as well.
Yeah.
This kind of brings us to the question that was submitted today about how do you know if it's kind of about God's voice? How do I know if God is saying yes to me being in a relationship, or if my feelings are making me think that God is saying yes?
How do I differentiate between if God is saying yes to this relationship, or if my emotions / feelings are masking his no?
That's a good question.
I think this comes back to like the importance of having your own relationship with God. Like,
Do you hear him about other things?
Yeah. And if you don't, you need to work on that.
Yeah. If you don't hear him about other things that are less significant, you for sure won't hear them about something that you really, really want.
Yeah.
I think like you have to be willing. If you really want to hear God's voice, you have to be willing to hear a no. And so like something somebody told me once is like when you're trying to hear God and you're really struggling, you can, really thoughtfully try on an answer, right?
Yeah.
And like, what if God said, what if God is saying no? How do I feel about that? What if God is saying yes? How do I feel about that? Do I have peace in that decision? Do I have can I accept that? And if you can't accept one of those answers, then you're not going to really be able to hear it. And it is like your feelings probably masking your ability to hear God's voice, because we get so invested in an outcome that we really struggle. And like for us, we spent 6 months. We broke up for a while. Just because, we just were not on the same page or something.
Question for you.
But like that was part of the thing, is like we were so invested in the relationship that like we couldn't hear the answer. Yes.
Did you stay in contact after you broke up?
Denver didn't leave his house for quite a while.
Yeah. Yeah, I stayed home for a while.
I remember
and just worked.
I remember we had some hangouts.
Yeah.
No, we took I'd say like a solid 2 months where we didn't see each other at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that was
Which is really important,
hard,
though.
but it was
Yes.
really important for like actually processing.
You need space from your ex.
Yes, it is wise to take space and time away from situations with your ex. Like, don't necessarily, like, you don't have to like avoid them like the plague.
yeah.
Don't like
If you
cut
guys go to
yourself
the same
off.
church, don't stop.
Don't cut yourself off from
from all your
community
community.
because of them, but like also like you need to
Don't go out of your way to hang out with them.
yeah.
And we're in the same boat that I know a lot of teenagers that date would be in that we had all the same friends,
Yeah.
Yep.
which makes it very, very hard.
But it wasn't like a nasty breakup.
no,
Yeah.
No.
So it wasn't like Denver's like, hey, is
I hate your
Julie's
stinking guts.
Julie saying anything about me? Is she seeing someone else? Or like, it wasn't like that,
No.
But you were mature.
Yeah.
We both just sat in our rooms and cried a little bit.
That's right. Yeah, we both
Yeah, there was a question. I could
Yeah, last
quickly
night,
answer this.
yeah.
Do boys cry when you break up?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Do they
100%.
hurt, or is it just the girls? Yeah.
If they
Oh, man.
if they actually cared about the relationship, yes.
well, I don't think that's even a fair answer. Male emotion is so complicated because it's like I have at times in my life I have very much struggled to like feel like I can feel anything. Especially as a teenager. I think there was times where I like felt really sad and really alone and I wanted to cry, but I just couldn't. I felt like it was probably the right thing to be doing in this situation, but I just couldn't work up the, I don't know, the emotion and like the tears and everything just didn't come. And so like, if you like are watching somebody who is going through something and they're not crying, that doesn't mean that they don't care.
Right.
And that doesn't mean that they like didn't care. It just might mean like they are not at a point where they've processed their emotion enough to like, you know, release that or like be open about it. Or like they might not know how to process that emotion. And so like, I don't know.
Guys are not great at processing emotions with other people or in general. We had someone ask about this last night about like guys sharing with their other friends how they're feeling and their emotions and stuff. And I think it's like, it's hard to do, but try. Try and build some trust with your friends so you can be vulnerable with them. We actually talked about this on the episode we did with you. I think it was like episode 3 or something. But about being vulnerable builds trust. And once you've built more trust, you can be more vulnerable with people. Like that's important to do with your guy friends or your girlfriends, you know, like that's.
I think it's easier for girls though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Yeah.
It seems to be.
Comes more natural
Yeah.
to most girls.
Yeah. Next question here.
If you're struggling with feelings, it's probably best to talk to an adult
Yes.
because they are
Which-
much better at.
Which is kind of our next question here. Who are the right people to share my thoughts about my future spouse with? Adults or friends?
Probably
Kind of, yeah.
adults
Yeah.
or like older people first.
Yeah.
You're like people who you would consider like a mentor in your life
Yeah.
or like.
And I think when I was younger, I just thought like, oh, you like adults just want to control what I'm doing. Like, no, we genuinely care about you.
And that adult
we
doesn't
want-
necessarily have to be your parent.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
I know I struggle still to talk to my parents about stuff like that. Whereas, having a mentor is really important. So if you don't have one, it's a great thing to have. And we were very fortunate that we had an older couple that kind of took us under their wing from the moment we started dating. And they were like,
Great.
we are your mentors. Like they really invested in us, which saved us a lot of
That's awesome.
a lot of
stuff.
grief. Yeah.
How to keep God number one in the relationship. We kind of covered that already. PDA/flirting. Is there a limit?
Oh my
A
word.
right time or place? You had a good answer for this, I think, before we started. If you
don't
wouldn't
need
do it in
to
front of your
flirt.
parents.
Oh, yeah. Oh, PDA. If
Yeah.
you wouldn't do it in front of your parents, don't do it in front of your friends either.
Yeah.
And if your friends have like made comments about how they're uncomfortable with the level of PDA
Too much.
or flirting that's going on, it's too much.
Yeah.
It's like that is. It's.
They get it. You're
We
together.
get it. You're
Yeah.
together, but like
Good for you.
It's like just chill, cool it,
Yeah.
just a little bit,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah.
The worst cringy part for me is like during worship sets. Like we'll just be worshiping and you'll have couples at the back. I'm like, no.
No, this is really
hate this.
Because
Yeah.
you're not making God the priority in that situation.
Yeah,
you're making
you're-
them the priority in that
It's
situation.
so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
like that.
You and Tyler don't hold hands
way.
during worship?
No. No.
I feel like it's happened for us.
I mean,
when, like,
yeah,
we're
that's-
praying through something together. But
Yeah.
like, I mean, we're married, so
Yes,
it's like
it's different.
different.
It's
It's
a
like
different level.
We are like in a lifelong relationship with
Yeah.
each other with God, and so like there is an element of our spirituality that is like that.
But
is
you
our
started with the
relationship.
foundation of making God
But-
the priority first already.
Yeah, you don't need to. What did they
Give each other
interlace your
back
fingers
rubs.
during
Oh my gosh.
worship? Yeah, you
Full
don't.
on snuggling.
You don't need to be touching someone else during
Oh,
worship.
it just makes it horrible for everyone.
Yeah.
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 So cringe. as they say today.
But like, we're not worship time, regular time,
Yeah.
holding hands and stuff. That's
Yeah,
fine.
that's fine.
It's fine
Yeah.
to have.
And there's a
some-
time and place for that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like it's like I think is it still a rule at camp, right? Like if you're dating someone who's also out there, just like
No.
no?
When you're dating, oh yeah, it's still
Yeah,
a rule.
yeah.
I mean, like you're not allowed to. Camp's a different world.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're not there for
exclusive relationships.
Yeah, you're there for if you're a counselor, stuff like you're there for the kids. Like that's
Even
why
if you're
there.
a camper, we try and discourage it.
Yeah, that's a whole nother thing though.
Well, and
Yeah.
for what it's worth, one of my favorite things from like it's a speaker, Brett Ullman, I talk about him all the time, but like he talks about this like ramp onto a highway, and he's kind of like PDA and dating and stuff, like it's all kind of like a ramp. So if you start holding hands and then you start kissing right away and then you start making out, because like it's like you don't go backwards.
No,
Yeah.
you can never go. Well, I shouldn't say you can never go back, but it is next to impossible to go back. That's why I said make sure you set those boundaries.
Yeah.
And go about it slow. I don't know, like enjoy dating. You don't have to do everything all at once. I don't know.
Okay, last question. If a girl likes me but I don't like her back, but she keeps asking me about it, what can I say to not hurt her feelings?
I don't think there's not really a way to get out of it clearly without hurting somebody's feelings.
Yeah.
You just have to kind of, I don't almost want to say just like man up and like just say, sorry, you're a great person, but like I don't have feelings for you in that way.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You can be Canadian about it and say, I'm sorry.
Sorry about
You
that.
can apologize for not having feelings.
Yeah.
But like you can't control how someone else is going to respond to that and feel
and
about
you
that.
can't control how you feel. You know, it's like, well, what if I just make myself have feelings for them? Like that doesn't work.
And you also can try to not be a terrible human being. So, for example, if you know somebody likes you and you don't like them back, don't flirt with them.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's within your power.
Yeah.
You're like, but I like being liked even if I don't like them back. I don't know. Let's not be turds. Let's not be bad people.
That's a super jerk move right
Yeah.
there. Yeah. Just deal with it and don't like drag it out. That's actually the most unkind and selfish thing you can do is just to drag it out and continue to give someone hope for something that you don't believe is ever going to come around.
Yes, it's unkind.
Yeah.
I mean, we might have time for one more question.
Yeah.
Someone submitted, Levi, are you a single Pringle?
Oh, yes.
How do you want to respond to that?
Come talk to me. I'm not sharing that information with the internet.
Thankfully, it wasn't a teenager who asked you.
Yes.
So.
Yes. My goodness. Yeah. Anyways,
Cool.
Thank you guys. Any last thoughts? Does Milo, do you have any thoughts?
Uh-huh.
What do you want to say to the world?
You say Happy Valentine's Day.
Can you say Happy Valentine's Day?
Hi.
Hi. Any last thoughts before we close off, or you feel like you've shared what you can?
No, I feel like we shared kind of everything.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I think
And
it's so sorry. I guess I will share one last thought. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's good.
I think just like it's so important to have your own relationship with God in
Yes.
all of these situations, to have that relationship
Yes.
with God, to be able to have the character, to be able to know what the right thing is to do, and to have the courage to act on that.
And it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be like Paul, having a relationship with God, and just make him the priority first.
Yeah.
And
And he'll help you answer pretty much any relationship question you have.
Yeah.
Like, is this going too far? Well, if you're in constant communication with God, you'll be feeling, oh, this doesn't feel right for me. So there's your answer.
Yeah.
Or should I marry this person?
Yeah.
It's like God will direct you if you are close with him. If you're not, then it's a whole nother conversation.
it's really important to have that relationship with God first and foremost.
And to know you're loved and complete in God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like you can talk to every adult you want, but if you're not talking to God about it, that's you need to have that relationship. And you can always come and ask Denver or Julie questions, because they're always giving advice, I feel like.
People always keep asking.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's been nice, but
We had like a whole youth retreat afternoon where kids were
I
just
talk
like
a lot
giving.
more in one-on-one conversations than this.
Yeah. Because this is like forever. You're like, what if I say something like that? Yeah.
Hey, there's good advice. Keep asking questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you have them, ask them. We're available to be asked. Talk to us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, guys, for joining us.
Yes. Happy
See you
Valentine's
later.
Day. Bye.
Bye.